There's absolutely no two ways about this. We are heading to another war in the Middle East. Do I know if it's going to extrapolate out and ultimately be World War III? I think it's far too early for anybody to call that. But at the same time, all of the elements are convalescing. It's at least going to be Afghanistan 2.0 because you can see similar rhetoric being parroted by all of the previous powers that made that 20-year conflict a reality. And they're getting out ahead of this, assuaging any fears that, yes, don't worry, guys. Just because the United States is actively funding one war doesn't mean that they can't open up the coffers a little bit wider for a second. Kind of directly contradicts what John Kirby was saying that, aid is kind of tapering down for Ukraine, but we'll be able to just, position that money hose over and fire it into the coffers of our greatest ally. But it's not just the head of the Treasury. Like, why would I take her opinion on anything? She can barely do her job. She can't even define what a recession is. One day she's saying that inflation's not that bad, and then at the other day it's like, yeah, we kind of thought that it wouldn't be as bad as it is. It's like, what is it? She can't even be honest with the public, so why would I take her opinion when it comes to something like this? I would much rather listen to the old man, and he's supposed to be down there. There was a little banner that's down there. He's heading out to Israel, by the way, on Wednesday, which is just a sign of horrific things to come, coupled with another news story that I have pulled up as well. But Biden scoffs at concerns supporting two international wars. We're the United States, for God's sakes. Yeah, because that military-industrial complex, its thirst, its insatiable hunger cannot be quenched without the blood of random brown people out there, okay? It's been far too long, man. Like, boots haven't been on the ground in the Middle East since 2021. We're going on better part of 3 years. Better part of 3 years without senseless American deaths out there fighting Israel's wars. I mean, come on, guys. They've waited long enough. Anyways, President Biden vehemently insisted that the United States can handle supporting both Ukraine and Israel in their ongoing wars in an interview 60 Minutes Sunday night. You're so concerned about everybody else's borders except for your own southern one. What a cretin. Absolute cretin. Biden appeared for a rare sit-down interview, but he already had pre-screened answers to all of his questions. It just, depending on how much the dementia was going to act up, whether or not he would be too terribly emotional. Like, Christ almighty, could you find a more flattering freeze frame that he has right there? You can literally see the points where he has the Botox injections put in. He looks more plastic now than he ever has. But yes, in the interview with the program to discuss the country's support for Israel, yes, so we stand up for our greatest ally. Following the attack by Hamas that has since killed at least 1,300 Israelis and 30 Americans. Are we going to talk about the Palestinians that? No? Okay, cool. This came as the United States continues to provide financial aid to Ukraine's war against Russia. Ukraine's war or NATO's war? Oopsie daisy. Are the wars in Israel and Ukraine more than the United States can take on at the same time? No, because we still gotta go out there and fund Taiwan when Xi decides that the wallpaper that he's picked out for the presidential palace in Taiwan is finally arrived. So don't worry, we got a lot of money out there. We can just print more. Money machine go brrr, and if I need a little bit more off the top, I just go to talk to my son. He'll work it all out. We're in the United States of America, for God's sakes. It's like, yeah, we know. We're going broke. The deficit is becoming insurmountable at this point in time. And what's your solution? I just turn it into a parking lot. That worked. He continued, we're the most powerful nation in history, not in the world. I'm so glad the adults are back in the room. In the history of the world. The history of the world. We know, but the last time that there was such arrogance with the most powerful nation in history, not in the world, in the history of the world, they kind of spectacularly collapsed. Anyways, we can take care of both of these and still maintain the overall international defense. Fucking Christ. Everybody mocked Mike Pence for his, I forget the specific term that he was using. It was some kind of shout out back to Johnny Danger cartoons. But no, it was basically just shouting out the United States as being the world police. And here you have the actual fucking president out there saying, we still need to be the world police. So happy, 81 million people wink wink, nudge nudge, voted for this fucking old war hawk. The source told Fox News Digital senior officials in the administration briefed members of Congress on the phone or on a phone call. They would like to see a mega package of aid to both Israel and Ukraine as well as Taiwan. I didn't even know that was in there, but of course it will be. Of course. Border security. For border security. Oh, you can't make this. You can't fucking make it up. You can't make it up. And a nonprofit security program to protect houses of worship like synagogues, mosques, and churches. Except for the 1616-year-old church that got blown up by the IDF air raid last weekend, and another ancient mosque in there that also got bombed. But don't worry, that's where Hamas was planning some stuff. I'm sure. But it's great, man. We're seeing so many narrative shifts at this point in time. It's fucking tremendous, man. The fact that everybody, including Henry Kissinger, who for some reason is still fucking alive, just proof positive that evil never dies, saying that, yeah, you know, this whole multiculturalism, this whole globalism experiment, yeah, it's kind of fucking failing in real time. And now that he's admitting it, just he's like got a foot and a half in the grave. Imagine that, somebody who's saber rattled across the world and has created such destabilization that now we're just all kind of reconciling with the aftermath of that. I did a video not praising him, but just simply looking at all that he has done in his near 100 years on Earth, and I think he was calling out Biden at this point in time. You don't have to respect somebody in order to analyze their tactics, and somebody who's been around with that many fucking administrations, if he's even saying anything, you can go ahead and analyze it just as a simple tactical move as to what he's doing, because we know where his allegiances lie, and it's not necessarily for the betterment of the American people. So it's interesting. It's very interesting as to why he would be raising that flag right now over the one that he normally does. The picture not relevant at all. Nope, not just a coincidence. However, Biden has not publicly requested a spending package for Israel. Yeah, just wait until the Speaker of the House decision gets made up, because we know that that's ultimately what's going to end up happening. Oh, okay, cool. You're going to go ahead and pick a speaker. Jim Jordan, great guy, makes a lot of good policy decisions, but yeah, one of the stipulations for a lot of the Republicans in order to nominate a new speaker is to go ahead and cut off support for Ukraine, or at least taper it down significantly, which is ultimately going to be the compromise in order to just finally convalesce on somebody. But what about supporting Israel? Do you think that that's going to be off the table at all? Don't fucking make me laugh. This is the Republican Party after all. A recent Fox News survey also found out that approximately 51% of voters believe that there should be a time limit on the support for Ukraine, compared to the 45% who believe that support should continue indefinitely. What a fucking distinction without a difference. Holy. This marked a significant shift from February, when 50% said that it should be indefinite. That's wild, and 46% wanted a time limit. Significant shift? Yo, man, that's arranging the deck chairs on the fucking deck of the Titanic. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But again, it's Fox News after all. But yeah, no, Biden hasn't publicly requested a spending package, but he's requested troop deployment into the Middle East. Guys, he's sent over, and some reports that are out there are already saying that there are boots on the ground. There's already a second aircraft carrier. The USS Eisenhower, I do believe, is at least on its way over to the Mediterranean Sea, if it's not already there. I would imagine it's probably, you know, within close proximity, probably within Liberty range. If you know, you know, and if you don't, just Google's your best friend. But Biden administration has selected 2,000 troops to prepare to deploy in support of Israel. And these are Marines, by the way. The troops will not serve in combat roles. Are you out of your fucking skull? That's the exact same way. It's like, oh, okay, cool. We're just going to go ahead and train a bunch of fighter pilots for Ukraine, but we're not going to go into any active duty missions. But if you want to go over there and support them, well, we can't stop you. It's like, just fucking stop with the semantics, you lying warmongering. Anyways, on Monday, the United States military selected around 2,000 troops for a potential deployment to the Middle East as it ramps up its efforts to assist Israel, i.e. fight its wars for him. The move comes 9 days after members of Iranian-backed Palestinian terrorist organization Hamas. Iranian-backed? Where the fuck are you getting this? Because they couldn't financially support them. You remember the whole story? Oh, the $6 billion that's over there. That's being used in order to facilitate these attacks. Oh, okay, interesting. Weird. Anyways, according to the Wall Street Journal, the troops are currently stationed in the Middle East. Oh, okay. Where in the Middle East and surrounding areas? I thought the entire point of being such a great ally, making Israel our greatest ally, was because of their strategic deployment positioning. Okay, their geographical location in the Middle East. There's bases that are there. It's a good launching position. Just, again, okay, if you wanted a little bit of homework, just go ahead and take a look at how many bases that the United States has in the Middle East. Syria, yeah, they got a couple of them that are right over there. Don't know if Israel's decided to bomb those quite yet, but we'll talk about that in the second half of this video. But Don, this video over here on YouTube's just about to get cut short. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I got something up my sleeve here for a second. They were selected from across all branches of the U.S. military. However, no members of the infantry have been given prepared to deploy orders. While the Biden administration has expressed the desire to assist Israel, it has not specified exactly what would trigger deployment of troops. Oh yeah, exactly. That we're just gonna have to sit tightly and wait up for Wednesday after Biden lands in Israel to discuss strategic policy decision with Israel. This is gonna end so fucking badly. I can't stand it. But it's wild, man. There's like one person. There is one person who actually gives a fuck about the borders of the United States, who actually gives a shit about America over the rest of the world, at least when it comes to elected officials, and that's Matt Gaetz. One more time. Yeah, Matt Gaetz says, no Gaza refugees in the United States. We are already being invaded by people from our own hemisphere. I totally agree with him on that, okay? No Gaza refugees. Okay, no more refugees in general, because guess what? They all have lands. They all have lands where they belong. Okay, those places that they are fleeing have every single right to make themselves great in and of themselves if they simply take care of their own borders. If the United States would stop allowing itself to be that toilet that it is getting flushed on by every other nation that's out there. They're not sending their best, ladies and gentlemen, as a previous elected official once said. They are sending their poor, downtrodden people just looking for an easy fucking handout. Want proof of that? Take a look at everybody who comes forward and ends up getting a free care package, a free cell phone, and is just let loose within the country. Sure, there's some good ones that come across, but then there's other people that end up taking advantage of this system. Matt Gaetz doesn't want to see that. He's one of the few people that actually does, because, hey, guess what? He wants America to be put first. Wild thought by an elected official of the United States. And you know what? Gaza, those South American countries, the Central American countries, all deserve to be great if they stopped having a pressure release valve where they could just go ahead and get rid of their undesirables. It really doesn't seem that difficult, and I don't know why anybody else, at least in elected office, I know other people have opined on this topic as well, just can't simply come to that conclusion. Almost like the neo-libs that are out there, yeah, your AOCs, your Elon Omar's, Rashida Tlaib's, yeah, they're open to potentially opening up the borders, yes, for Palestinian refugees. No, they're fine over there. You can go ahead and stay over there as long as the IDF stops bombing the place, okay? If we can go ahead and get that, fucking settled out, that'd be fantastic. But again, why would you take Jamal Bowman's advice about anything? He doesn't even know how fucking doors work. Other members of Congress, such as Senators Ted Cruz, Tom Cotton, Marco Rubio, Rick Scott, sided with Gaetz to had that same energy for the United States borders to try to get something done. But yo, man, that's the United States portion of this stuff. Now, okay, here's what I'm going to end up doing. Here's what I'm ultimately going to end up doing when it comes to this coverage right here. I'm going to go ahead and cut it right here on YouTube. And what I'm going to be doing is I've got a whole bunch of other information that's up here that I see right now that I want to cover as to what's going on in the Middle East right now, what's going on in Gaza, in Israel, and things are going to get a hell of a lot more spicy. But we're going to go ahead and continue with that over on Rumble, because, well, Rumble's the future. Rumble's the one place where I can, in fact, express all of my opinions when it comes to this stuff. I gave everybody on YouTube, but just a nice heads up when it comes to a bunch of this stuff. And yeah, we'll be able to just dive dick first into all of the crazy stuff that's going on, all of the bombings, all of these crazy refugee and hostage videos that are out there. Don't have to edit any of them. We can just go ahead and play them full speed. Don't have to worry about cancellation over there. So if you'd like to join me with that, the full length, or a link to the full video, will be down in the description right there. Don't know how much longer it's going to be, but I can see all of the different links that are out there. So if you will, hop on over to Rumble. If not, we'll catch you guys over here again tomorrow with a whole host of topics as well, probably including what's ultimately going to be going on over there, at least, okay, in the Middle East, at least in a truncated form or fashion. So I do appreciate everybody else hopping out. And then once again, a shout out to, well, hell, he decided to host me on his website anyway, so I can go ahead and give him a shout out for that one. So shout out to the great Ryan Dawson for giving me this idea. And yeah, so yeah, we'll continue over on Rumble. But as for the rest of you YouTube guys, I appreciate you for the platform, but Rumble's going to be the future. And I know if I keep talking like this, I'm going to end up getting yeeted off the platform right there. So shout out to you guys. Catch you tomorrow or on Rumble.